11:42 left to go, fourth quarter. Back to action here in Park Hills. The Central Rebels owning a 42-14 lead here on Parkland Sports Live in conjunction with the Parkland Podcast, brought to you as always by The Barn. And the Blue Jays take over possession of the football from the 28-yard line, and a handoff to Weiss from the wide receiver spot. Tried to come around the end and was met head-on by a tackler. That was Boyer, who knocked him down for a 4-yard loss, taking him back to the 31-yard line. Central led in this one early, 18-0, and then led at halftime by a score of 30-6. Two teams have exchanged a couple of scores here in the second half, but it has been a Central show. Karis Foster putting on a show with 250-plus all-purpose yards on the night, and 4 scores, 2 receiving, 2 rushing. Jackson Jones, a couple of touchdown passes, a couple of touchdowns rushing himself, and an interception to boot. And the Central Rebels have shown they're more than just running the ball this week. They ran it quite effectively last week in a 22-13 win over Owensville, and have had big play after big play here tonight, no matter who the guy with the ball in his hands offensively has been. A fourth down coming up for the Jefferson Blue Jays, and it'll be 4th and probably 7. Man staying down for the Central Rebels, hobbling toward the near side sideline that was in on that tackle is Cosby. And he will limp off to the near side sideline and be looked at by the trainers. And that's something we talked about early on at halftime, early on in the second half, with a big lead. Focus for the Central Rebels shifting to making sure everybody is healthy as you go forward and come out of this week number 2 matchup. Along with Jake Whitener and Mike Reeves, I'm Brandon Geiler, and it is a 4th down and 7 facing Frisk, who eludes pressure, rolls to the right, has a man, it's Weiss, and Weiss lost his footing, or he might have made it a much bigger play. It is a first down. It's inside the 30-yard line and deep into Central territory. Nice looking play by the quarterback and the wide receiver.
That's something you look at, Brandon, is, you're still in a game here where you've got possibilities to still do some good, running the fast-paced offense, trying to get up to the ball and speed this. But at the same point, still keep your eyes on the target. Try to finish this game as healthy as you can, with as much success as you can.
Unofficially, a 48-yard play and the 4th reception of the ball game for Weiss, who's closing in on 100 yards on the night. We're inside of 10 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter. 9 minutes, 15 seconds and ticking. As that carry off the right side, got the ball inside the 25 to the 24. Brings up a 2nd and 8. And they'll swing it around right side, and a mass of bodies fighting and pushing toward the sticks. That play started out, didn't think it was going to be much, and little by little got closer and closer to that first down mark.
Yeah, as I say, you have some of your number 2s in for Central here. They're giving guys breathers to stay healthy for next week. But if you're Jefferson, you still have your number 1s in. You've got to find that little camaraderie and success here, at least for the next few minutes through this game.
Frisk at the quarterback position. Played receiver last week. He'll roll near side. He'll look toward the end zone, and it is picked off. Picked off by the Central Rebels at the 1-yard line. Great play to step right in front. Nick Fowler steps up and makes a play, and yet another guy that you just add to the Rolodex for the Central Rebels that steps up and makes that play.
Well, it's nice to see that you've got some of these young guys in and stepping up and making those plays against a varsity in Jefferson still, which, don't get me wrong, they're probably a little bit deflated, so you may not be seeing the best of the number 1s for Jefferson right now. But at the same point, you've got depth to build on here, which is awesome to see.
The thing that'll be facing the Rebels is having the ball deep in their territory. And before their first down play, we'll check in with Mike Reeves on that central sideline. Mike?
As you noted earlier that Chad Cosby left the game after that play right in front of us here. He's on the bench. He's got that left ankle elevated and iced, and they're taking care of him right now.
Again, hoping to avoid any lingering long-term issues if you're the Central Rebels. In a stacked formation behind the quarterback, Jackson Jones, and Jackson Jones will give to the deep man. That is Hinson. Hinson finds the outside corner and breaks across the 15, pushed out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. And just like that, from the shadows of your own end zone to plenty of breathing room.
You know, that's something that we talked about, the depth. We talked about watching some of these young guys perform. But, you know, somebody that we just saw go off the end of the track down there with his arm being supported was Brady Schweiss. So you really hope that maybe not the worst of scenarios. Maybe he had a little dinger, but seeing the way that the coach was transporting him down the field with his arm kind of very tightly to him makes you suggest that maybe he has a little bit more than just an injury.
And he's made a couple key plays defensively as this night has gone along. Little surprised to see Jackson Jones still in there at that middle linebacker position, or the quarterback position, I should say. As he takes the snap there, turns around, and some miscommunication led to nobody home, and then he just tried to make something out of nothing and get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe one.
I truly, given how deep they are in their own end of the field, I would venture to think that Corey has left him in to make sure these younger guys get the ball, or at least have the ball security to know if something goes awry, that it's not a young buck under their first time under the Friday Night Lights being stuck with the turmoil of decision-making on their own 19 or 20-yard line.
And you look at the scoreboard, it's a 28-point game. That next score would be your turbo clock we've been talking about. And if they can somehow make that happen with your senior leader under center, it would ensure that clock does not stop. And bunched up at the line of scrimmage, the Rebels. Ball looked like it was going to pop free for a second, but able to secure it is Toomey. But Toomey is driven to the ground by a couple of Blue Jay defenders, and it'll bring up 3rd and long inside of 7.5 minutes left to go, quarter 4.
You know, I think it's you try to come out of this healthy, you know. So I kind of think back to the Valley Central game last year, where the Valley's got a multiple possession lead, and Coach Schweiss and his staff narrows it down to 14 with 3 minutes left. They have a chance to go onside, but you're going to have to go onside, you're going to have to score, you're going to have to go onside, you're going to have to score. But in this situation, you know, watching the way they're milking the clock, I think they're perfectly fine with just making sure that this clock gets down to zeros with no other injuries.
And this situation is similar to them last week, as Jones comes far side, ball deflected in the air. Beeler picks it off, and he'll walk it back for the score. An interception return of 24 yards by Beeler on the near side flat. And once he broke that initial tackle, there was nobody between him and the end zone.
And that's just the timing deal. The receiver reaches back, which it was a ball thrown behind the receiver. Now, whether the route was perfect or not, who knows? But to see that ball go right behind the receiver, he gets one hand on it, he kind of juggles it to go the other hand, and the defender just happened to be right in the right place at the right time to pick that ball out of the air.
What I was getting ready to say right before that is the situation the Rebels had been in last week was having the ball about this point in the game, and they ran it down to under a minute before they punched in a score. 2-point conversion is through and good by the quarterback Frisk, who keeps it and makes it a 20-point game at 42-22 after that, with 6:49 left to go in the 4th. We'll bring in the closing moments of this one after this on Parkland Sports Live.
Service, affordability, and selection. Those are the cornerstones of Pettis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Farmington. You'll see the selection when you drive by their lot at the Fairgrounds exit. You'll notice the affordability when you talk to their experienced salespeople, and you'll love the service when you take your new Pettis Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in for maintenance. New or pre-owned, cars, trucks, SUVs, and anything else in between. Pull into Pettis Chrysler, Dodge, Ram of Farmington today. 431-7800. PettisAutos.com.
See what the Jays do coming out with 6:49 left to go in the fourth in a 20-point game. Central Rebels up on the line. Anticipating the onside kick. It is there. It takes a high hop. It's touched by a Central Rebel, and it's picked up out of the air by a Blue Jay, and the Blue Jays will maintain the possession, but it dies right there as it was touched, and then having it pounce into his hand was Gavin Green, and Gavin Green does what you see all the time on that play. Guy sees nothing but green grass, and he wants to find that end zone.
You bet. And that's hard to tell a kid. They have the opportunity, ball in hand, you know, they're running for a touchdown, to know that that's a dead ball once you possess it past that 10 yards on an onside. But on the flip side here, Brandon, you can probably bet that on this Central Rebel sideline, there is not a whole lot of very good feelings right now, knowing that you had a 42-14 ball game. You give up a pick six, which was just random. You know, it came off receiver Graff's hands into the DB. But now to get an onside kick, you know they're going to fire this team back up.
And here come the Jays looking to attack offensively. It's Weiss who is met head on at the 35-yard line and driven to the ground by Nick Fowler. Nick Fowler's had a couple of big plays here in this second half. You see some of the starters reappearing for the Central Rebels. Karis Foster in there at a defensive back position on the far side of the football field. A 42-22 game, 6:14 left to go, quarter four. A game that the Rebels have pretty much had in hand since early in the first quarter, been in control of early in the first quarter. And Hafner gets the carry and comes inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. And the officials taking a timeout. They want 6 minutes up on the clock. I think the Blue Jays maybe took a timeout.
You know, and you're to a point now where you're doing your best to try to get some of these younger guys in. I mean, that's a typical score. You're up 42-14. That's very common for coaches at that point, especially fourth quarter, to start feeding some of the younger guys in, get a little experience, see what some of your Monday night JVers have to offer. But then on the flip side of that, you also do have expectations that we're not going to continue to turn the ball over. We're not going to continue to give up points. So to see the starters back in at this point, you know, it's pretty typical that if a younger group of kids are starting to allow a team to advance down the field or to give up points, to put your starters back in and just try to finish the game out.
We'll bring back Mike Reeves back into the conversation. There were a lot of nail-biting games in week one and a close contest played by the Farmington Knights in week one. They played another one, close one again tonight, Mike.
They did, and the interesting thing related to Farmington is I'm not sure I know who they are right now, and I'm not sure if they really know. They got a game tonight that they win. There was some controversy late in that game from what my understanding was, with a possible game-time touchdown called back, but they did get the win. They're 1-1. They had a lot of issues to work through with the North County game. I'm really curious to see what they become as time moves on.
Back to action here. Foster on the defensive coverage on a ball thrown near the end zone, and Foster went up, tried to bring it down, and the officials will talk about it. He was near the sideline, and they will talk on whether he broke the plane or bring it back to the 20 or call it incomplete.
And the conversation they're having.
All of that could have happened.
I can't really understand what they're saying here. There is a flag on the field, but I'm not sure if it's a pass interference or what they have, because that's going to determine first, because if it's a pass interference, the play is negated.
Holding on the
defensive holding.
Yep. And that'll be a first down. Back to that Farmington discussion. Farmington losing a close one last week to the North County Raiders, winning a close one this week. two schools of thought, or a school of thought there. You're learning to play in those close games, which later on down the road could be beneficial.
It's also hard, though, because you're playing a full 48 minutes of football smash mouth. You have no time off. You know, the North County game last week, it was a very physical, run between the tackles, attack the field type game. You know, it really was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, so there was a lot of juggernaut football being played between the tackles. But then you do it again this week against another triple option team, similar to you, not a true wing, double wing, triple option, but at the same point, it's another 48 minutes that you're wearing and tearing. It's hard, and like what Mike said, you know, you have to find out who you are, because you've got to start maybe getting used to playing from behind a little bit to where you've got that extra element of passing. You know, Brett Dry last week for Farmington started his first 3 passes. 2 of them were interceptions. So, you know, you got to get that comfort level amongst your team and truly find your identity of what you're good at with all the different skill positions you have.
The Blue Jays maintaining possession, having it 1st and 10 after the penalty, and Boyer knifes in, catches Hafner behind the line and tackles him for about a 3-yard loss. Boyer has played a good second half on the defensive side of the football for the Central Rebels, and another head-on tackle right there. They're going to give Hafner forward progress for a loss of 1.
The physicality is there. I mean, the Central's still coming out. But at the same point, you've got to make sure, again, limit how many hard hits some of your players are taking inside the box.
2nd and 11 from the 24, a misdirection, and Weiss will find some space and nearly made a man miss and tried to squirt free at about the 10-yard line. He was pushed out at the 12, though, and picks up. 12 should be enough to move the chains for the Blue Jays. 4:53 left to go, 4th quarter. And if they're going to mark him 3rd and short. Just short of that first down is where the official marking will be. Frisk back in the shotgun formation, 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. He's going to look far side of the field. Rainbow one up and falls incomplete. Ussery was his intended target. He was a favorite target of him last week. Has yet to find him this week, as that one falls to the ground and brings up a 4th and 1 from the 14-yard line.
Given the situation, you know, you want to find that number 1 receiver you have. But seeing who's playing DB on him right now and knowing the athleticism of Foster, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You may throw one and maybe Foster's not 100% with the cramping issues he's had and you get away with one, but you're also, I mean, you're rolling some dice here throwing the ball in his direction.
Fake handoff by the quarterback, keep it himself, then try to fight forward for that first down yardage, and a lot of this is going to depend on left foot, right foot. Where do you want to put it?
You bet. Well, I think right now you just try to finish this game out, maybe punching one in on the ground here, have some success. Obviously, you're in 4-down territory. You've got 1st and 10. Looks like maybe on the 13-yard line you can still get another first down here. Just try to run this clock as much as you can and have success with your offense on the field.
They got it 1st and 10, and Hafner met in the backfield, head of steam, full speed ahead. Max Woods from his linebacker position wrapped him up beautifully. And we don't keep defensive stats, but he's got to be having a pretty good night, maybe nearing double digits between assist and solo tackles.
He has been sideline to sideline. He's also been a frequent visitor in their backfield.
The Rebels bringing pressure as the throw is over the middle. Hafner, the intended target there, and that is the 24th pass attempt for Frisk tonight. I did not anticipate that coming in.
No, really expected
either one of the quarterbacks.
I really thought that was going to be our total tonight. Yeah. I thought something less than 25 was going to be our total passing efficiency tonight, or even attempts. But to see the game plan that each of them came in, they obviously each saw something on film that they wanted to try to exploit. One team's just been a little bit more successful than the other at it.
3rd and 14, obvious 4-down territory, but they may not need it as the handoff goes to the running back, and Henson got in the way, or actually make that a number 30 instead of 31, as Fowler comes up with the tackle, and he kind of felt that one. He took some of that blow.
He took some of it, but he stuck his nose in there, and he didn't give much ground after impact, maybe half a yard. The way that force was coming downhill, you would have thought that was going to be a 2 or 3 extra yard gain.
Instead, it is a 2-yard gain, and it brings up 4th and 10. Jays trying to keep hope alive here. Throw out to the far sideline, and tune in for Hafner, and it falls incomplete. And it'll be a turnover on downs as that one floated high of the intended receiver. And we talked about the Farmington Knights playing close games. Mike Reeves, bring him back into the conversation. And North County also involved in a close one tonight yet again after having their contest with Farmington last week.
I guess, Jake, you brought up that point. It means you're having to play hard every down right to the end. You don't really get that break. But, Brandon, I'm tempted to find myself siding on your thinking as well, that maybe late in the season you've played in these type games, you'll know how to handle them, and especially if you're winning them. I think everybody talks about, we played in tight games. If you're losing them, that's a negative mindset.
Yep.
But if you're finding a way to win them, that makes all the difference in the world. So I tend to be on the side of let's play close games and let's see what we got from ourselves in them. I like the close games, but maybe that's the fan in me talking too.
One thing about it should make you better as you go throughout the next couple of weeks.
Well, it gives you a test of who you are, too. What are your kids able to persevere through?
The Rebels with possession of the football inside of 3 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. And we are seeing the reserve players start to come in for the Rebels to close out this one, as Pig will take over at quarterback, a young freshman. Or actually, he ran to the sideline, talked to central coaching staff, sprints back out there and ready to go. That's that youth.
And we saw him last year at the middle school level. He has a lot of athleticism. He shows it there. He's getting a few yards, but his athleticism also comes with be smart. You're in a bad situation against some bigger, juniors and seniors still on the field, so just be smart with what you're doing. Especially with your back on against your own end zone, and that athleticism of a young guy to sprint to the sideline, get the play, sprint back in, and see what happens. And we're going to have a switcheroo of quarterbacks as Patterson comes in to replace him on this 3rd down and 7 play from the 15-yard line. Gaining valuable varsity experience for some of these Rebels of the future. And the future looks bright for the Rebels after tonight, owning a 42-22 lead, and Patterson lost the handle on the football, does the wise thing, goes right down on it, especially with it flopping around down around the 5 or 6 yard line. Well, the number one thing you tell these guys as they get in for extra time is protect yourself, protect the ball. And that's one of the worst things that young guys do. They get a little nervous, the ball hits the ground, they try to bend down to pick it up, and they wind up taking a pretty blunt force hit. So it was a very smart move, quarterback, just get on the ball and keep it in your possession. Mike Reeves down on the sideline. Mike.
Guys, I've got some, legitimate trust in you, both of you, and your knowledge of the sport. And based on your pregame conversation, I anticipate being home right now. So I'm just going to let
two of us, sir.
I'm just letting you know that I've lost a lot of faith moving forward. You got to earn that back, guys.
And a little dangerous snap by the Rebels over the head of Patterson, the quarterback. He goes into the end zone to pick it up, and it is a safety, so it'll make it an 18-point game as we near the conclusion of this one. 25 seconds left, but Jake, it has been an eye-opener for me to watch this game tonight. The amount of athletes and playmakers that still reside in Park Hills, Missouri for the Central Rebels.
Well, it's nice to see new names come up, because there for a long time you got used to hearing certain names come through. And it's a great opportunity for some of these younger guys who are maybe now seniors that were stuck behind those very athletic guys for so long to finally get the chance to break into Friday Night Lights as starters. But I agree, there is still a feel of Friday Night Football coming out of Central this year that is going to give a lot of people a lot of extra time on film after tonight of looking to see the pros and cons of what Coach Schweiss and what his staff and kids are going to bring to the table each week.
If you're late in joining us, Parkland Sports Live's coverage of Week 2 high school football. The Central Rebels led at one point 18-0. They led at halftime 30-6. And they lead now 42-24. Karis Foster, a huge night. 2 receiving touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. A huge night offensively for Jackson Jones, the quarterback, as well. 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown rushes, an interception defensively, and 250-plus all-purpose yards for Foster. And Central is just 24 seconds away from improving to 2-0 on the season. Jefferson will slide to 1-1, and they'll get the Black Cats of Herculaneum a little closer trip for them next week.
And I think for Coach Atley and his staff, you have to be very careful when you break down film this weekend on what you take away. And this is one of those games that you look for the room for improvements. You look for your positives, room for improvements. You don't dwell on the negatives here. You got to move forward. You have a team next week that's going to be in a situation where you may have a chance to have a good battle but come out on the positive.
And Coach Atley and the Blue Jays content to take the knee, get on the bus, let the record be what it is, and the home fans rise to their feet, ready to celebrate. It is exactly that, a celebration for the Central Rebels. They beat the Jefferson Blue Jays tonight, 42-24 on Parkland Sports Live.
Ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into a hands-on career? Mineral Area College is ready for you. Their Mac Tech industry and technology programs are all about getting to work and making things happen. Whether you thrive on fixing, building, or just plain problem solving, they've got a pathway for you. Welding, HVAC, auto tech, construction, and more. You'll gain the practical skills and real-world experience needed to thrive in today's job market. Take the first step to a fulfilling career in a Mac Tech program. Apply today at mineralarea.edu.
Southeast Missouri Mental Health is looking to hire a diversion recovery coach. The DRC would be part of a forensic mobile team serving the central, east, and southeast regions of Missouri. A degree in social work, psychology, or other closely related field is preferred. Experience in community mental health, forensic mental health, and substance use disorders is required. Individuals with case management and psychiatric rehabilitation experience will receive preferential consideration. Specialized licensure or certification is also preferred. To apply, go to dmh.mo.gov and click on Employment Opportunities, or call 573-218-6800.
Hey, it's Mark Toady here, and you know there's no better place to watch the big game than Spokes Pub and Grill in Farmington. Chris and Dina Spence invite you out to enjoy the great menu and the fun atmosphere that Spokes always provides. For me, I love the burgers. The catfish sandwich is amazing. The pork chops are awesome. They have huge salads, and you should always leave room for dessert when you go to Spokes. Check out their Facebook page to see when your favorite band is performing. And as always, for rolling good times, it's Spokes Pub and Grill right off Highway 67 in Farmington.
We're Keith and Tiffany, founders of Notes for Hope. At Notes for Hope, we believe music can be a powerful tool, and we are dedicated to promoting suicide awareness and prevention through the healing power of music.
Like providing instruments and journals to local students that could use the outlet for healing.
So whether through donations, volunteering, or simply spreading the word,
By supporting our mission, you help bring comfort and hope to those struggling with mental health challenges. Hang out with us for an all-day music event at the Park Hills Underground September 21st.
and visit notesforhope.net to learn more. Together we can turn melodies into hope.
Life can feel like an uphill climb, but no one has to face it alone. Everest Counseling, based in Farmington, has been empowering individuals and families for over 20 years, offering support through life's toughest challenges. Specializing in at-risk youth and serving rural communities, the experienced and compassionate team provides the guidance and the tools necessary to thrive. Whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, trauma, family conflicts, or just need someone to talk to, Everest Counseling provides personalized services to meet your needs. Contact Everest Counseling today at 573-330-4452.
Thanks for tuning in to Parkland Sports Live in conjunction with the Parkland Podcast, brought to you as always by The Barn. The Barn is an emerging media company and podcast network based in Southeast Missouri, with popular podcasts such as The Tippy Joe Show, Vulgar Display of Podcast, Birds and Swords, Midwest Mixtape Podcast, Knuckleball Prime Time, Struggle Street Sessions, Bible Talk at the Barn, Girl Dad, and Third Eye Review. The Barn is proud to provide a little something for everyone, whether it's music, comedy, variety talk, local events, mental health, movies, gaming, and more. The Barn is proud to support high school sports.
Looking for top quality custom sportswear and activewear? Look no further than Nouveau Athletic. Nouveau Athletic blends innovative design with affordability, revolutionizing activewear for athletes, teams, and enthusiasts alike. From affordable, high-quality team practice wear to specialty sublimated activewear, Nouveau Athletic has grown to become a leader in sportswear and the industry, especially in cheer. Nouveau Athletic, where passion meets quality in every stitch.
For Nouveau Athletic custom apparel locally, contact Tia Cunningham at 573-701-6015.
Ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into a hands-on career? Mineral Area College is ready for you. Their Mac Tech industry and technology programs are all about getting to work and making things happen. Whether you thrive on fixing, building, or just plain problem solving, they've got a pathway for you. Welding, HVAC, auto tech, construction, and more. You'll gain the practical skills and real-world experience needed to thrive in today's job market. Take the first step to a fulfilling career in a Mac Tech program. Apply today at mineralarea.edu.
Southeast Missouri Mental Health is looking to hire a diversion recovery coach. The DRC would be part of a forensic mobile team serving the central, east, and southeast regions of Missouri. A degree in social work, psychology, or other closely related field is preferred. Experience in community mental health, forensic mental health, and substance use disorders is required. Individuals with case management and psychiatric rehabilitation experience will receive preferential consideration. Specialized licensure or certification is also preferred. To apply, go to dmh.mo.gov and click on Employment Opportunities, or call 573-218-6800.
Hey, it's Mark Toady here, and you know there's no better place to watch the big game than Spokes Pub and Grill in Farmington. Chris and Dina Spence invite you out to enjoy the great menu and the fun atmosphere that Spokes always provides. For me, I love the burgers. The catfish sandwich is amazing. The pork chops are awesome. They have huge salads, and you should always leave room for dessert when you go to Spokes. Check out their Facebook page to see when your favorite band is performing. And as always, for rolling good times, it's Spokes Pub and Grill right off Highway 67 in Farmington. Looking for top quality custom sportswear and activewear? Look no further than Nouveau Athletic. Nouveau Athletic blends innovative design with affordability, revolutionizing activewear for athletes, teams, and enthusiasts alike. From affordable, high-quality team practice wear to specialty sublimated activewear, Nuvo Athletic has grown to become a leader in sportswear and the industry, especially in cheer. Nuvo Athletic, where passion meets quality in every stitch.
For Nuvo Athletic custom apparel locally, contact Tia Cunningham at 573-701-6015.
Ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into a hands-on career? Mineral Area College is ready for you. Their Mac Tech industry and technology programs are all about getting to work and making things happen. Whether you thrive on fixing, building, or just plain problem solving, they've got a pathway for you. Welding, HVAC, auto tech, construction, and more. You'll gain the practical skills and real-world experience needed to thrive in today's job market. Take the first step to a fulfilling career in a Mac Tech program. Apply today at mineralarea.edu.
Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center has been providing mental health services since 1903. We are located in beautiful Farmington, Missouri, and serve upwards of 350 patients. With over 1,100 employees, we are the largest employer in St. Francis County.
I think is always in our mission is to get those guys to the place where they can be released in the community and live their lives.
But what makes SMMHC so special?
There's room for advancement. They're good benefits.
When you join SMMHC, you're being welcomed into our family. Find us at dmh.mo.